There's a different enemy now that the United States of America has to face. An enemy within. An enemy that is telling us that on this very sacred day, this very solemn day, this special day for this great nation, we could not come together and remember those who sadly lost their lives. Those 3,000 Americans who lost their lives in New York City, lost their lives in Washington, D.C., lost their lives in the field of Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Sadly, we are told that maybe perhaps if it was a protest march, if it was mob violence, if it was rioting, if it was looting, we could come together. But to come together to remember our modern-day Pearl Harbor is not being allowed. See, to me, this year, 2020, just 19 years after what happened on September 11th of 2001, this has been a year that I will never forget, just the same as those skies that I will never forget. A year in which elected officials told us that, well, some of us were essential and some of us were not. Certain businesses were essential and some were not. That you could go to a Walmart, you could go to a Home Depot, you could go to a liquor store, you could go to a marijuana store. But on Easter Sunday, our churches were shut tight. And here it is on September the 11th, and we are not allowed to gather in that very solemn place where we saw those airplanes strike those towers. Let this never happen again in the United States of America. Let us never dishonor the memory of those people who lost their lives because of certain ideological agendas. Let us walk in faith and not in fear, because those people who lost their lives, they deserve that modicum of respect and our sacrifice to remember them. As we go forward on this September 11th, and as we read those names of those individuals who sadly are no longer with us at the dinner table or watching a college football game, let us commit ourselves, let us renew a commitment to this great nation and the freedoms and the liberties and all that it stands for, so that never again will we allow ourselves to be attacked in such a heinous way, from without or from within. This September 11th, let us make sure that never again will we be told that we cannot gather at that solemn place and all those solemn places to remember our nation being attacked. There's something very special about America, and perhaps that's why some people hate this nation. But for those of us who have served and sacrificed and committed to give that last full measure of devotion for this great nation, let us remember that our oath of office does not have any type of statute of limitation. It never ends. And for those of you in our law enforcement agencies and our first responders, thank you for carrying on the lineage of heroism and bravery that we saw on that day, September the 11th of 2001. To those families who lost their loved ones, we will never forget you. And we will never forget the people that brought that incredibly despicable attack against our nation. We stand with renewed vigilance to ensure that Islamic jihadism will never rear its ugly head on our shores. And if possible, we will keep it from rearing its head anywhere across the world. God bless America. God bless our dear Lone Star State of Texas. But God bless the memory of those who lost their lives on September the 11th of 2001.